Hi, my name is Connor Thompson, and I worked on the similarity of subtracted current excitations in off-plane magnetic resonance electrical impedance tomography for my applied project, and my mentor was Dr. Rosalind Sadlier. Now, what is magnetic resonance electrical impedance tomography? Well, it's a type of MRI scan that enables doctors and research scientists to calculate the electrical properties of biological tissue from MRI scan data. Now, to do this, current has to be applied from electrodes that are placed on the patient's scalp while they are undergoing multiple MRI scans. Now, what I was interested in looking at this data for was assessing its data quality and different ways to do cross-comparative analysis between multiple scans to validate data before it moves on to a further analysis stage. Now, the data I was working with was previously collected by Dr. Rosalind Sadlier's research group, and there were 4 scan types with 3 electrode locations on the scalp, the F3, F4, and OZ locations, with current being passed between them. There was also a scan in which no current was passed as a control scan. Now, for the linear combination I did for the current subtraction, I looked at the F3 OZ scan and subtracted the F4 OZ scan from it. Due to the superposition property of current, we expect that this process would produce a scan that is similar in both structure and amplitude to the experimental F3 F4 scan. Now, to actually examine the similarity resulting from that subtraction process, I did a structural similarity index measure comparison, which looks at the luminance, contrast, and structure of the 2 images being compared. And I also did a mean subtracted comparison between the F3, F4 experimental scan's mean BZ signal and the resulting mean BZ signal when you subtract the assembled scan from the experimental scan. Now, both of these methods I analyzed with paired one-tailed t-tests, and both of them showed statistically significant differences between the 2 comparison groups. Now that I've completed the project and for future directions, I think it should be something that should be looked into is the removal of electrode lead interference in the BZ data, because that can have an effect on the analysis techniques that I used here, as well as refine the workflow for producing automated data processing and producing these results, because there's a lot of manual processing steps that are required. As well as utilize the data involved in this testing for a larger project that Dr. Rosalind Sadlier is working on. I want to say a special thank you to Dr. Rosalind Sadlier, Dr. Christopher Beneo, and my academic advisor, Roberto Reynoso. Thank you so much for listening to me.